This is Tara from Carbo Coaching, bringing a little bit of training on the 4 pillars of well-being tool. Let's talk a little bit about the idea of well-being before we jump into how to use the tool. We are human beings. The idea of being can point back to our existence or the nature or essence of a person. And if we look at the term well-being, we can then determine that we can have a being that is being well taken care of, well sourced, getting everything that it needs for optimal functioning and satisfaction, or a being that is depleted or deprived of things that would give it such an experience. So here in this tool, what we're saying is, let's say there's 4 main arenas or fields or legs on a stool that will support one's being to be well. We have physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual are our 4 chair legs. Now, what happens to the chair when one of those legs is shorter than the other 3, or 2 are shorter than the other 3? Then the chair is wobbly, it's crooked, it's not effective for its intended purpose. Obviously, the intention for us caring for our being would be that everything is at maximum capacity. But we're not going for perfection here. We're just shooting for, we want to be well. As with any of our tools, we want to steer away from creating additional stress with the tool, right? So we're not going to turn this into like a part-time job of a whole bunch of things that we need to do, or grade ourselves as a bad person or not good enough because we're scoring low on our well-being self-evaluation tool. Really, this is just an opportunity for us to get curious about where we are currently in the state of our well-being and picking 1 or 2 things, potentially even from each area, but even picking 1 or 2 things in total to focus on for, say, the next month will dramatically change your energy level, your ability to focus, your ability to show up to life in a grounded and calm and grateful place, and both achieve better results, but also, and potentially more importantly, have a fulfilling experience doing your work. So here's how this tool works. 1, it's a fillable PDF, so you can jump right in here and fill in a score of 1 to 5 in each quadrant or each pillar. When we look at physical, this is where, some of the more obvious things for well-being might come in. Exercise, healthy eating, enough water, enough sleep. Do you like playing sports, but you're not really getting out there because you don't feel enough time? You don't have enough time. Are you not playing? So we want to look here and just, wow, based on the things in this list, and this is not a be-all, end-all list of any of these 4 quadrants, but just to give you some ideas, how am I scoring in this particular area? So let's say I'm doing a lot of the basics. I'm exercising, eating well, I drink my 9 cups of water or whatever your goal is. I'm getting 7-8 hours of sleep, and that feels sufficient for me. But I really am lacking play in my life, and play is important to me. So I might give myself a 4. Then we go over to mental, right? Let's see what these places to look are. Spend some time doing nothing. Wow, what a rare idea. Spending time with others, turning off technology, being of service to others, doing physical activity. Again, that was also in the physical section, but we have some of these things you're going to see in multiple quadrants because they support, there's overlap, right? These things aren't entirely isolated. Learning new things, information, skills, going to therapy. Therapy, in my opinion, is so critical, and I feel like every little kid should have a coach and a therapist, is my opinion. Right? In therapy, we really get to learn about ourselves and see what's in our blind spots and take a look at how our childhood is impacting our adulthood and things like that. So that obviously would be good for our emotional and spiritual well-being as well. So you give yourself a score in this area. Then we'll get down to emotional. So here, this might be taking a look at our gratitude practice, journaling, connecting with others, being social, or having solitude time again might be in here. Being aware of your feelings. This one's huge. I don't know if you have seen the feelings wheel yet, but if you Google the feelings wheel, you'll see that there are 6 core emotions: anger, disgust, sad, happy, surprise, fear. And then there's a second tier outside of that kind of takes a deeper look into each one of those. For example, inside of anger, one of the offshoots is, threatened. Okay. And then again, a third tier that says inside of threatened is jealousy and insecurity. So you might at first be like, wow, something's really got me tied up. I'm feeling angry. But really, if we dig down 2 layers, we will see, I'm actually feeling kind of jealous about this thing or insecure about this thing. And this really helps us gain some emotional competency, connection with self to see, okay, if I know that I'm jealous about this thing, now I can see that I have a need that could get filled somewhere once I have awareness, right? Without awareness, we have no choice. So spending some time becoming aware of your feelings is super duper valuable. So then, there's a few others on here. You're going to score yourself in this area. Finally, we come to spiritual. So spiritual, we don't necessarily mean religious or your relationship with whoever you relate to as God, but we're really looking at your spirit, right? Your experience, maybe around meditation or mindfulness. It certainly could be a religious practice. If you enjoy going to church or synagogue or observing the Sabbath, have you been doing that? But it also is, being of service to others. Again, we have some gratitude in here, fellowship, reading, practicing self-trust and trusting others, practicing contentment in the moment. Maybe there's things around truthfulness and, non-coveting and, a variety of different things that would affect you in a spiritual capacity. So there's lots of things to dig into in this quadrant and scoring yourself here. You might notice that, wow, I've got a 5, 2 4s, and a 2. Well, that 2 is really going to make your stool offset, yeah? So we might look at that area, wherever you got the lowest score, and say, what is one thing I could practice in this area over the next 30 days and just see what's different about my life when I commit to that practice, right? This is really an exploration of how you have power and facility over your experience of life by looking at how well your being is. Hope this was helpful. Please always reach out to any of us here at Carbo Coaching for additional support. We're happy to help you. Take care.